this is a busy season.
Yes.
As soon as we see a little sunshine in Texas,
Yeah.
we're ready to get in those yards and tear them up. And some people do just that. They just tear them up without a plan because we like shiny things. This is almost like being in the adult candy store.
Yes.
It's like we're in a toy store. We get to pick. I want that. I want that. I want that. Really, without any regard to what this, that, and the other will do to our yards. So I want you to talk to us weekend warriors.
Okay.
And even those who think they're quasi-professionals, but really amateurs. Because the one thing we don't want to do is waste our money.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't want to get into the trappings of the pretty and the shiny and the color if it's not right for our flower beds, if it doesn't get the right sun or the shade. So I want to let you do what you do best and educate us on, you know, how to even begin picking something that's really suited for your yard versus what we think is going to look pretty.
You can start prepping your beds by tilling your soil, rotating the soil, putting any mulched up leaves into your beds and flipping that under the soil. That all dissolves and becomes nutrients for your soil.
So I go into my flower beds and I flip the mulch where the soil is on top of the mulch.
So the leaves. So you're going to do the mulched up leaves underneath your soil and then let them decompose. So we do that in fall and very early spring, and that's a soil amendment that's easy because those leaves will turn into nutrients for your soil.
I'm just looking at the flower bed.
Yeah.
So I just want, you know, keep it simple, stupid. You know that you know how people say that.
Yeah.
So the idea of having, I'm already feeling defeated if I have to get the cardboard and then.
Well, and you don't have to, but if you're gonna put in like shrubs and you want your shrubs to really thrive, then we recommend really prepping your beds. If you want just the bare basics, maybe you just want to put some flowers in for the spring, then you know you can always come in and do like a landscaper's mix and layer on top of the soil you already have. You can buy that in bags, or you can get it from compost centers or nurseries like us. And you can just lay that on top of your existing soil and plant into it. But I would only recommend that really for annuals, which are going to last maybe, you know, like 3 to 6 months or 6 to 9 months. But if you're going to plant, like you want to redo your landscape, then you want to amend your soil because your plant life is going to depend on it.
Okay, so then we'll go back to what I just described as difficult because we do want to do it right because I don't want to put anything in the landscaping that looks nice, but you know, I'm gonna have to redo it every year because I didn't do the proper steps to begin with. Speaking of which, I have a picture for you to take a look at later, and I want you to give me your diagnosis of that picture and what you think. So what are some of the plants that you would advise someone? They're thinking about, you know, they want to enjoy the beauty, but they're also thinking about selling their home. And so something that's going to really give them a bang for the buck, something that's going to really give some good coverage, some great curb appeal, and that's lasting.
Those are our geraniums. The geraniums have a wonderful smell. If you pop the leaves off, mosquitoes hate the scent.
Well, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait a minute. You just really answered our summer question.
Yes.
If you don't like mosquitoes.
Yes. So if you don't like mosquitoes and you don't like bugs, plant as many herbs as possible. Thyme, rosemary, citronella, lemongrass. Bugs hate our herbs. So if you also want to protect your vegetable garden, plant herbs around the vegetables to help protect them. This is a citronella, which is part of the geranium family. And people are always like, oh, well, how come they're not working? Well, you have to pop the leaf off to release the scent. And you can smell it. It smells really good. Very lemony, kind of like the citronella candles. But yeah, that releases the scent inside of the plant that helps keep the mosquitoes at bay. We talked about some evergreens and some tender evergreens that are great for yards in Texas, especially North Texas. So one of the ones we have is the sky pencil boxwood. So it's a relative of your wintergreen boxwood, your Japanese boxwood, except these get tall and they just kind of stay very manicured. So if you're looking for a cleaner look, boxwoods are a great way to go. This is an Iliagnus. It's a silverberry. What I really love about this one is this can handle the cold and the heat, and they grow back pretty quick, but they get really pretty silver berries on them in the fall. So it's kind of a lighter leaf, but kind of shimmery. So you get a different kind of color of green and some texture. Down here, this is in the juniper family. There are several varieties of low-growing juniper. This is great as a ground cover. A lot of them will spread about 4 to 6 feet. while only getting about 1 to 2 foot tall. So if you're wanting kind of something to cover your beds that can handle the sun or the shade, these are a great option. Then I have a tender evergreen. This one can sometimes, if we have a really cold winter, drop its leaves, but they usually come back. And they get a gorgeous pink flower on them. It looks like kind of like a pom-pom. It's a very deep fuchsia. And we can take a look in the back. I think I have something in the back. So fruit trees, fun fact. So Weatherford, which is about maybe 20 minutes from here in Fort Worth, they're the peach capital of Texas. So we have Texas star peach trees that do really well here. The Georgia Belle is another one that does pretty good here.
Purple peaches, and I didn't realize they were so pretty.
Yeah, they're gorgeous. So this is our Texas summers get so hot. I usually recommend an east side of your house just so it has a little bit of protection from the afternoon sun, unless you have a really good irrigation system.
Okay, and also grew with a fig tree.
Oh,
so
yes.
A fig tree is pretty popular, safe for well, it was safe in my yard.
They are, and they are already fruiting this year by themselves. So there's a couple different varieties. This one's the turkey brown. I really like the LSU celestial fig. So LSU developed a variety of the celestial fig that is a little bit more cold hardy, and that's the type we usually bring in. But these do well here too.
And they grow up pretty tall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean.
They do, yeah. They'll get pretty full, but you'll see. I mean, they're fruiting all over. They're already really happy and producing. The Texas redbud. This is another one. So in a couple weeks here, it's going to be completely pink. It'll look really similar to the peach tree that's flowering. But this is a Texas native, and it's hardy. And so this is another one for like the east side of your yard. About 6 hours of sun, we do wonderful.
Okay.
Really, just really pretty ornamental tree.
For most people, unless you just really love working in
Yeah.
it, yeah, we want something that's pretty but easy, where we can just set it in, let it grow.
Yeah, I always recommend the annuals for pots. So if you're going to do planters in front of your house and you want some color pop free season, because it's easier to replant in the pot and you know that you're going to do it, and you can keep it, budget friendly. So like you could do the peonies in the spring, you could do bougainvillea in the summer and the fall. Those get really pretty and full. And you can bring them in and they'll live, throughout the summer or throughout the winter, depending on which season. So.
And what is this? The orange?
That is a pomegranate. So that is a nano pomegranate. They're really pretty. So if you leave those outside in the winter, they take, they'll come back, but not until around summer. So it's one of those that you want to kind of place in your landscape, maybe with some evergreens. So while it's still in stick form until about June, you can be patient waiting for it to come out, but then it fruits and flowers like this the rest of the year.
So it is actually fruit-bearing pomegranate.
Yes. Now it's a nano pomegranate, so they're a little bit smaller. They're a little bit more bitter. But we also have the standard pomegranate somewhere right here. Oh, right in front of me. So this is a pomegranate tree. This is going to actually produce the true pomegranate. And it is slated for zone 8, which is what we are, but our winters are getting a little bit colder. So if you do plant one, I suggest protecting it and wrapping it in winter.
Hi, I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and we help people sell and buy homes in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We realize that moving here, well, that could be the easy part. The part that's not so easy is where you're going to live your life once you get here. Hey, if you are thinking about moving in 9 days or 9 months, reach out to us, give us a call, send us a comment. We want to help you realize which part of our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is the best place for you to create your memories and call home. Oh, and one more thing. If you're new to this channel, do me a favor. Subscribe below, press the bell, and you'll be in the know anytime anything goes down around town, around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, back to the video.
So we're gonna run through a couple ground cover options from full sun to shade. So we have first, this is a Texas native. This is a frog fruit. What I really love about this plant is that it produces little yellow flowers that actually attract butterflies, not so much the bees. But one plant can spread anywhere between like 4 to 5 feet. So it's a great alternative if you're wanting to get rid of grass and do a cover. It does go dormant a little bit in the winter, but they come back really fast and they're very fast growing. So this is the frog fruit. Does not attract frogs. This is in the sedum family. This is a lemon ball sedum. What's really cool about these is that you can kind of break them off anywhere and put them back in the soil and they'll grow. So you can propagate them really easy. A lot of the varieties of sedum or perennials, they'll take a little bit to come back as long as the soil doesn't get too moist. So these do really well in rocky, poor soils, clay soil, and full sun. This one is an annual, but it does it really well. This does really well as a ground cover in the summer. One plant like this can spread about up to a foot, and they flower. They get really pretty flowers. They come in different colors: yellow, orange, red, purple, pink. So this is a moss rose, or also known as a portulaca. This is a variegated English ivy. This is the glacier ivy. And these ones can take mostly full sun to part sun. They do a little bit better in the summer if they get a reprieve from the sun. And these can spread anywhere between like 3 to 5 feet per plant. These are called jumping jenny or creeping jenny. And so there's a couple different varieties. They're also known as moneywort. So there's the dark green, there's a lime green. There are a few other variations, and they do flower. Really pretty texture. They are perennial. Sometimes you might find on the internet where it says they're evergreen, but I find they do go dormant for a little bit in the extreme heat and in the extreme winters. This one is what we call a winter creeper, and it's really cool because it vines, but you get some purple underneath the leaves, and in the winter the whole plant goes purple. So you get some seasonal color change. And then these are just a wonderful ground cover, like around trees if you're having a problem with your grass not growing. They're part sun to shade. So I would not do these in a west or south. I would do this like in the north or the east side of the house. And then this is a juga. So it flowers if you're looking something for the shade. The spires will get maybe about 6 inches tall, and the plant will spread anywhere between 8 to 10 inches. And they kind of clump and spread. They're not invasive, but they do really well part shade to full shade. So this is another great option, maybe under a tree. We're going to look at whether we want to diagnose some plants here. So the first one looks like an azalea, and it's gone to stick. So it wasn't an evergreen azalea that we can tell. And I'm going to say you definitely want to wait until about 2nd or 3rd week of April to see if there's any green showing. You can do the test and kind of check the wood towards the base to see if it's green. And then I would definitely check the root system on that one for sure. If the roots look a dark, like the rusty color, like the orange, then it may not have survived the winter, but they usually come back. And then the second one, it looks like a salvia. So that is going to be in stick form. It should start pushing out leaves any week now, but those come back. So definitely wait, don't rip it out.
Okay, sounds like I need to have you over.
Yeah, we can definitely come check it out and diagnose for sure.
And that's the thing I like about you, Kimberly, is that you will come out, you look at a home, and you have a real consultation. And you look at the home, you ask what people want, what are their goals, and you're so gentle and kind, because I know you think they need to just pull it all out and start over. Let's just blow this whole thing up. And you're able to, okay, you need the height here, or the shrubbery. Do you really want to be working all summer long? Yeah. Or could you please consider some evergreens and some perennials? I know we all like the annuals because they give us that pop of color, but we have to be realistic with our time.
Yeah,
and with our skill.
Well, and I also try, I look at the landscape because I really hate to pull a healthy plant out or a plant that's going to come out. So sometimes you can save it and transplant it. Early spring, late fall is a great time to do that before it gets too cold or too hot. You don't ever want to do that in the summer or the winter, but if we can save a healthy plant, we want to put it somewhere where it's going to thrive and just kind of keep it alive and not just throw it away. So we try to relocate some of the plants as well. This is a perennial. This is a mealy sage. This is the mystic spire. These get about 4 foot by 4 foot. They're also pollinators, so they're going to also attract honeybees, butterflies, hummingbirds. Now these are perennial, so the difference is these are going to go to stick in the winter. So typically if I'm doing a landscape, I'm going to put my evergreens in kind of the back base layer, and then I'll do some perennials staggered between, so that in the winter, when the perennials go dormant and go to sleep for a few months, you don't have just sticks, you still have some shrubs showing. This is the dwarf fur holly. It's got really glossy green leaves. They stay really full. They're going to do awesome throughout the winter and the summer. They're low water once established, so this is a really excellent option. They can handle our sun. So they kind of plant well around most sides of the house. I also recommend them for north sides of the house where you might not get as much sun as well, because they're just really hardy. Another one that we recommend are the Texas sage. I like these particularly because there's different sizes and varieties. There's some that get 4 foot by 4 foot. That's a compact. We have some that get 6 to 8 foot if you want kind of a more wild look. But what's really cool about them is you can shape them into a ball, you can shape them into a hedge, you can let them grow naturally, and they're a pollinator. So they're gonna flower. You're gonna get really pretty purple flowers on them for about 3 weeks in the spring, summer, and fall. So each season you're gonna get blooms out of them, and they attract butterflies and hummingbirds, and they're a really nice Texas native plant.
And if they attract butterflies and hummingbirds, will they also attract bees?
They'll attract honeybees, but it just depends on where you have them planted. I mean, like, I wouldn't do it maybe right next to the front door, like in a pot, but if you do it along the front of the house, I mean, you're not going to have swarms coming into your house.
And someone told me, oh, honeybees are so sweet and friendly, no pun intended, that they won't attack you, because in my mind, a honeybee means I'm going to get stung.
Oh. So there's more aggressive bees out there, but the honeybees are very docile. So they really just want to spread the nectar from plant to plant and do their thing. And typically you can walk right through them and they won't do anything. If you wanted somebody that had like their first time planting and they want the equivalent of almost no maintenance, I say that because all plants require some maintenance, but I would recommend if they're looking for like a xeriscape, completely drought tolerant, to go to something in the Yucca family. And so they don't need as much water. They are native. All of the yuccas, I think we have like 50 to 60 varieties of native yuccas in Texas. And you don't have to wrap them in the winter, which is really nice because a lot of the agaves here in Texas, because our winters get cold, they'll melt. So you have to wrap them. But the yucca plants, you don't have to wrap them. You can, but it's really not necessary. In the summer, we water maybe like once a month if we're not having rain. But if we have rain, then they take care of themselves. So it's really a set it and forget it type plant, which is really nice.
This is a busy season.
Yes.
So for you to carve out these moments to visit with me, it's very, very, I appreciate it. And it's very important to people who are those weekend warriors and they're ready to roll up their sleeves, get their shovel and start digging.
Yeah.
But remember, do not throw away the plants yet.
Yes.
Let it live a little bit longer.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Yes.
So if you're thinking about re-landscaping your yard because you might be considering selling your home here in our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, give me a call because I want to connect you with a local nursery, a person who is an expert in this area. And we have one right here. I'm Tracy Sorrell with the DFW Life, and I help people just like you sell homes in and around our Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So give me a call, comment below, and let me know so we can get together and design a plan. By design, I mean have a landscaper design a yard to give you the most beautiful, lasting yard that will attract your next buyer and thereby getting you to your next place.
So on our website, growwildgreenery.com, you get an hour of our time on any of the packages to do a walkthrough. So the first tier, we offer a report of the plant care, recommended places to plant. Second tier, we offer a blueprint style design of how and where to plant. And we also offer recommendations for local landscapers if you need help planting. And then our top package is a digital design, so we drop in the plants for you with pictures of your home so you can actually visualize it. And we do the walkthrough with you. And really, we want to tailor it to what you want, what your aesthetic is, whether you want it clean or whether you want it natural looking like English garden style, or whether you want a xeriscape or maybe you want a pollinator garden. So we can offer a variety of design styles. But if you don't have the budget for that, you can bring pictures up to the nursery and we can lay the plants out for you here and walk you through here for free.